I don't have my mic on, so my audio might be a bit weird, but currently in the process of editing for the first time on Filmora, and this little boy is just in the way. He's now getting pissed at me because I've not been speaking to him. Whatever, Trevor. Anyway, let's just park you there. Let's turn the mic on, shall we? Hello. Welcome back to another vlog. We're going to try continue what I'm hoping will be a regular thing. So, week 2. And we are on Monday evening. It's 6 p.m. I don't work Mondays anymore. So, today, what have I done today? I've spent a lot of time this morning being very anxious because there was a gentleman in my home. I've changed to BT from TalkTalk, and they came to put in a fibre connection rather than when he looked at the wire. Because my friend Ed complained, maybe I've just got used to it. My friend Ed complains about the speed of the internet here all the time, and to be fair, my TV does buffer all the time. Or it did. I haven't tried it since I've changed to the new fibre connection. But the guy came out and he was just like, oh, he explained what was going to happen with the fibre connection. And then over here is where my old router is, or was, and that's where the old phone line came through. And over behind you, against the back wall, let me just turn you around so you can see, there is where my computer is. So, with my old flat, I was able to hardwire my internet into my computer, which helped with the speed of things, especially when I was like playing games and stuff. So I'm getting hopefully soon time in the next year or so. I'll be getting a new computer, which would be brilliant for hardwiring my internet into it. But anyway, he looked at the wire and he was like, "Oh, we're changing these wires out from the old copper wiring, which is what most old phone lines are, and to a new sort of like fibre." And he was explaining all the technical stuff. And then he was like, this wire here is what I'm going to be cutting off the connection to. And honestly, the state of that wire outside, it was kind of like, I'm surprised you get any internet in here whatsoever. Oh, God. And the downside of living in a council property, or one of the many downsides, there are loads of positives, but it's like I have to ask permission to put a cat flap on my front door, even though I'm paying for it, like the product and the installation. And the agreement is that if I move out, I will replace the door with a brand new one, which would be about £1,000. So I've said I'll just accept that cost if and when I move out. And I still need to ask permission, even though a lot of the outside stuff, they're like, "Oh, well, you could change your fence without permission. You could do whatever you want to your back garden without permission. You can paint the outside of your property without permission." But I can't get a cat flap. Make that make sense. Okay, please, council. Make that make sense. My housing officer is rude, just to put it bluntly. She's rude, so I don't like talking to her. And she talks to me like I'm thick, and I really just don't need that. I'm like, please, you're the person who tells a disabled person to get up on a freaking stepladder to remove moss from a roof of a bungalow. Not, like, regardless of whether I'm disabled or not, that's not safe for anyone who's not qualified to do so and doesn't have the right equipment to do so. And also, that would be a 2-person job, because even if you do work in that area, you are always supposed to have someone at the bottom of the stepladder for safety. So she's telling me, a single person, to get some stepladders, just home stepladders, and climb up them and remove moss from my roof. Again, make that make sense. Because if anything happens to my roof, if the moss has gotten underneath any of the tiles or whatever, and that's a cost that I have to incur as well, replacing the tiles. So I might as well just own this place, because I have had to pay, apart from the amazing £125 decorating cost that they gave me to furnish and decorate a total blank canvas when I first moved in, they've given me nothing. So thank God for my parents helping me out when I first moved in, subbing me money, and I have paid them back. But yeah, I would not have been able to do this if I was like totally alone. God knows what I'd have been living like. Just because of like, anyway, that's not what you're here for. Reading vlog. I'm editing last week's video, and I'm currently in the process of using Filmora for the first time, and I'm doing the editing thing where there's like a silence detection, because I've mentioned before, I try and delete the and the pauses out from my videos, but also there are times where I forget what I'm saying and I get distracted. It's like, oh, squirrel. And there will be periods of time. You look at it, a couple of minutes where I don't say anything. And having to go through loads of footage where I've done that, it's just stressful. So I'm hoping that this silence detection can at least do like rough cuts. There's likely still going to be things that it misses. But if it can do like the rough cuts, which takes the longest time, I will be happy. And then I still only have to play through once, because I hate the fact of like going through doing rough cuts, then going back and doing, and because I don't want to listen to my voice twice if I can help it. So doing rough cuts just on each clip that comes in, and then just listening to it from the start and editing out the extra bits that it's missed. I'm hoping that will be making my editing experience a lot better. Touch wood, fingers crossed, all that good jazz. Reading wise, I haven't read it all today yet, but it is only 6 p.m. So I'm going to edit this video, as I keep saying. I'm going to then put on an audiobook. I have Showdown in Mudbug by Jana Delion that I'm listening to, and I'm hoping that I can continue reading that. And then what I'm going to do is finish my Etsy listings for my launch tomorrow, because I need to edit some things in. So I need to add a disclaimer about my plushes, which I'm going to be selling as decorations, but rather than actual toys. But even though I'm selling them as decorations rather than cuddly toys, I still have to put a disclaimer on it. And I've done all the technical testing that I need to do, and I just need to make sure that I file that way somewhere safe, and safe as in somewhere I know where it is, not that safe place that you can never find. So I need to find somewhere where it's safe to store them documents. But then I need to sort of measure the plushes and measure some of my items so that people can get approximate dimensions for when they're purchasing some of my products. So I'm in my living room right now editing, because I've got my phone and I'm sort of like watching other crocheters, and I've not long finished. I watched Becca's video earlier that she dropped this week, and I'm going through some other people that I like to watch, both crochet wise and bookish wise, and then I'm hoping that I can just, once I've done that, and I still think it'll take that long, because most of the listings are done, just need a few tweaks, and then I finish tomorrow at 5, so I might do a few more tweaks before everything goes live. I don't know why I'm so nervous, because it's just a shop. I've just made some things, and if nothing sells, I will just have an excessive amount of beanies and coasters that I can just use whenever. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's the plan. Did that make sense? I don't friggin' know. But, my sister sells things on TikTok now. And her following she's boosted her following. It's crazy. I think it's like 60,000. And she did that from, I don't know how she did that. She just went viral, and she's crazy. And now she does like whole commission-based things on TikTok. And she knows that I like my spooky things, but I also like my cute things. And there's this little spooky ghost walking a little doggy ghost. How adorable is that? He's just freaking adorable. I had to buy it. So, there's that. And there's these little things called Emmas. And there's like a Forest Villa one. There's like some really cute ones. And I know that it's just it's a hole that you don't want to go down. But I fear that I am going down it. And there are multiple blind boxes that you can buy. And again, discounted. And again, it's just, yeah. I've got some of those on the way. I've got some of my special editions up for sale. I'm going to try and sell them. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed they will sell well, and I can get them off my shelves, because then that will mean I can rejig some other things that my other books, and I really want to start reading my manga again because I've neglected it for far too long. There were so many times I go to my library now and I'm like, ooh, I really want to read that manga, but I just then walk out and just forget about everything. So, yeah, and I'm thinking that if I can get rid of some of the other books that I don't want and I can condense my shelves down, I can maybe use one of the bookshelves to hold some of my sewing stuff. Like maybe when I get some more fabrics and stuff, just to have maybe one of the top shelves just to hold the fabric that I purchase and that I've cut, so that it's just, I know what I've got, if that makes sense. Because I'm using them to make scrunchies, and I'm also trialing out some little like coin purses and little bags, like makeup bags. Not like big bags, but makeup bags. And I'm really loving the sewing experience as well. It's very cathartic, and just crafting as a whole is really, really tickles my brain. So yeah, that's another long intro to this vlog. Did you need it? No, but apologies, you have received. I am going to finish what I need to finish and then come back and update you. Because I don't think did I even tell you what the Mudbook series is about? Basically, the Ghost-in-Law series is about, it starts with a girl called Maurice. She has an estranged husband. He's buggered off. She's been filing for divorce and she's not been replying, and she has a really tumultuous relationship with a mother-in-law. Then her mother-in-law dies and then comes to her as a ghost, obviously hence the series title. And the first book is about her trying to find out what happened to her mother-in-law, as well as obviously still trying to go through and like file for divorce against the husband who is just disappeared. And then there is like I won't say a background, there's kind of romances in here, but it's not romance heavy. It's just a woman going through life and she finds a partner sort of thing. So I wouldn't, it's not, it's a little bit spicy, but I'll put the spice level at maybe a 1 or a 2. It just briefly mentions some intimate scenes now and again throughout the series. There may be 1 in each book, possibly. So it's not that bad. And then the second book follows a friend of hers that we meet in the first book, and then the third book follows their friend. So they all know each other. It's a little village. I say a little village, little town. And once again, in typical Jana De Leon style, it's a southern town, and it's just, I don't know what it is about those southern towns in America that feel very, I'm not religious, but they go to church on Sundays and they're all very, I don't know, just cozy. And it reminds me of, like, I don't know, like a little town like in Gilmore Girls, but make it like a southern town near the bayou. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop yapping at you and I'm going to go. I'll be coming back to you with an update, because I will have an update. And I will have read something next time I come and speak to you. That is something I will do. Hey, darling friends, it's Tuesday. And I have launched Mietse. I thank you to Ash for messaging me. I talked about my shop yesterday in this vlog, and I just didn't link it. So she messaged me earlier. She was like, "You haven't linked your shop." So thanks for the reminder. I did mean to, but I have 4 orders that I need to post on the morrow. So that's fun. And then I've got somebody messaged me about one of my beanies. And they were like an orange one. I think I'm going to have to make it slightly bigger than the one that I've got in stock. So I'm going to make that, and that's probably going to, they haven't paid for it or anything yet. So I think I'm going to make that tomorrow. And just, if they don't end up purchasing it, I shall just put it in my shopper stock. But reading wise, I finished Showdown in Mudbug, and it was really good. Once again, Jana De Leon knocked it out of the park, and again, forgive the lighting, and I don't have the best lighting in this place, and the lights that I've got are really small, so yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. She says, I've opened this now, so I'm going to have to use this skin. Otherwise it'll wind me up. I'm going to start making some more coasters because I sold some dark blue coasters today. And I will, I don't know what to do. I will listen to some more audios. So let me just have a little gander. A little giddy gander at my audio book, shall I? I'm thinking Twilight of Embers. I started reading Room, but I wasn't in the right headspace for it. I feel like I'm not sure about that one yet. It didn't immediately grip me, and I think that something right now would need to immediately grip me. I need to sort my hair out. And so I think Twilight of Embers is going to be my next listen. I did say Dungeon Crawler Carl, didn't I? Ooh, Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I did also download Silver Elite. I'm so indecisive. Decision paralysis. Ooh, I do also want to reread Graceling. That's a Meg Rec. I have read it, but I read it ages ago. And then I stupidly bought like a hardcover edition of the book one in the series. It's kind of like, is it a series? Would you call it a series? Kind of like a series. And I bought book one, and then there was none of the rest of the series available in hardback. And because the type of hardback it was, it didn't have the barcode on the back. So I ended up just dumping it in with the rest of an order that was sending off to Scifier, and just sent, because I don't have it anywhere in my area where I can donate books or anything like that, unfortunately. So I just sent it to Vinted, and not Vinted, Scifier. They've probably put a barcode on it and sold it by now, so that's fine. Anyway, you don't need to know about that. Could I reread Quicksilver? No, Lisa. You have got far too many things that you would like to read. I do have a plan for my library, though. There are quite a few books that I just bought a subscription for that I'm not really interested in reading anymore. I'm trying to get rid of those on Vinted / just bulk selling them on Facebook Market because I just want them out of my house. And I'm going to try and free up some space so that I can at least get a couple of shelves so that I can have little baskets in there where I can store my scrunchies when I make them, rather than storing them in my drawers all the time. And maybe have a couple of shelves that I could use for stock. So that could be like my stock room / library. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna try and do that. So yeah, that's not gonna be a right now thing because I've still got the goddamn books in my house. But I think I'm still not ready for Michael Miller. I keep looking at Reckoning and the cover. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. So I think I'm going to go find Funky Fresh Fabulous Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's what we're going to do. And I think instead of making autumn related products, which, I'm going to be making some sage green hexagon coasters. That sounds like a bunch of fun for me. I think so. I need to let my cat out because he's been meowing at me. And I was leaving my window open like all day, but it has come to the season where spiders, little mini spiders, I say mini, there's some fucking huge ones coming around. It's about that time where they're going to try and take over my house. So I've had to shut the windows, and he can't just jump in and out of the window anymore. So he gets peeved at me and just sits and stares at me meowing. So I was packing an order earlier, and he was just sat there watching me because he wanted some food, even though he'd just been fed. Gluttonous little shit. Love him, but seriously. I keep saying I'm going to go, so instead of yapping it yet, I'm going to find my headphones that I've put down somewhere, and I shall sit there. When I sit there, probably going to see you on tomorrow. I'll give you a update on Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's what I'm going to do. See you tomorrow. Friends, hello. It's, what day we on? Wednesday? I am almost finished with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Should we have a look at what we're on? I started listening to it last night. Book 2. 51 minutes away from finishing. And it just takes you into a game. And I know I said that about book 1, but the nerd in me is just absolutely loving all the stats and all the quests. Like, the one thing that I don't even know if this is a thing, but I love completing quests. I like the fact that like when I play a game, I'm a completionist. So I have to, like, if there's, I keep saying, like, if there's, say, like an Assassin's Creed, you have to get a certain amount of flags in each area, a certain amount of viewpoints in each area. I like playing games like that. I would love to be able to read a book that had that aspect to it as well. I'm not saying that this is any less enjoyable, because that's not a thing, but it just, apart from that aspect of it, it does remind me of games that I play, and it's great. You can choose your class, you can choose, it's basically like any RPG. Obviously it's a little RPG, but yeah, that's all I can say really. I'm really crap at explaining books that I really enjoy, but I am really enjoying it. Whilst I've been doing that, I took a bit of time out from crocheting, and I don't know why I decided to make this, but I had some charms, and I don't really know what they're going to be used, what they're going to be turned into, but I just started building some charms. So there's this one, and I think I might make this into like maybe a keychain, a little keyring, and then there's that one in blue, and then I'm thinking of maybe making these. Oh my god, this is not focusing at all, but these, I've started to build these, because they come in individual components, so I've had to assemble these beads, but then just some cute little, just different unique stitch markers, I'm thinking, maybe. So I've made a couple of them, and then I also just decided, because I could, was to make a little bracelet. So it's got like a clear at the top, and it's just cute, and it does fit someone with a wider wrist like me. So I might just actually keep this, because for one reason, there are some little imperfections I just don't think would be suitable, but if I wasn't to sell it. But as I was making it, I was like, actually, this is really cute, and I really do like it. But I'm thinking, my sister gave me a bunch of beads and stuff, and I do have beads of varying different sizes and some elastic, so I might make a couple of bracelets as well, and maybe just throw them up on the shop and see how they sell. Maybe not, but I definitely do love these little dainty little key rings. I need to get some gold, either lobster clips or the thick jump rings. But I don't know what to read next. I've got 51 minutes of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I need to... Oh, I've got another sale. I need to package that order. But then I also need to... What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I was going to do something and I can't remember what I was going to do. I can't remember what I was going to do. But I think... I'm debating, do I start Truthwitch and do a reread? Or do I move on to Twilight of Embers? I still need to go through my list of books that I was going to read for our fantasy and look at what I've currently read already since April and see what can fit what prompts and do an update on that. But yeah, I'm going to just finish listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I think is going to be another 5 stars, so yay for me. And then whilst I do that, I'm going to try and think of what I was supposed to be doing. I need to find a lobster clip for this, and I need to start crocheting some more coasters. Oh. Also, something came in the post. Did I show you this last week? And there's some really cute little baubles that you can make. I know Halloween's not been and gone yet, but planning. I get to do two things I enjoy. Crafting and reading. So much fun. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I keep yapping at you, but tatty bye. Fair dawning friends. We are now on Thursday and it's pretty late in the day because my lovely body decided to fail me today. So I woke up with a headache, took some medication like a good girl, and then my headache was like, psh, medication? What is that? Migraine. So, yeah, it turned into a very debilitating migraine. Luckily, it didn't last as long as the last one, which lasted about 3 days. I literally logged off work, went to sleep, woke up about 10:30ish, and then I tried to get to sleep. I couldn't because, I'm not going to mention the word because I know that some people have a fear of the thing that you do when you're not well. And so, yeah, it ended up being a situation where I felt really nauseous and then I couldn't sleep. So once that was dealt with, my brain would allow me to sleep. And then I woke up at what time is it now? 5:30. So, yeah, I woke up about half an hour ago. That normally would mean that I would struggle to sleep tonight. But I feel like one of the good things about having something to do that means I have to mentally focus is that because it requires concentration, it also means generally, unless I have an insomnia moment, that I can sleep pretty well, even if and obviously because it's ill, it's taxing on your body. Anyway, not that you care. What you do care about is me reading. I decided my indecisiveness has just gotten worse recently. So, and I tell you, this is because I don't have a TBR. Like, if I give you, like, an MBR, for instance, like I did do before, then, or if I set myself out an MBR and pick from that list, then I find it easier. Then I can't stick to a strict TBR. But I also can't go without any TBR at all. Because either way, either extreme way, I end up not reading whatsoever. So, yeah, last night, picking a book, I was kind of like, I'd finished Under Collar Cow and I didn't really want anything too similar. And I was just so indecisive. I didn't really want to have to purchase another Jana De Leon book and download that. Because as much as I love the woman's work, all the books are only on Audible that I can find. And I don't want to pay $7.99 a book. But anyway, I ended up landing on Graceling by Kristen Kershaw. And I'm so glad. I read books 1, 2, is it 3 as well? They're not really, the thing is, like, the way that this series works, and it's called a series, but we live in a world where there are Graces. But book 1, and I didn't look into this before I started it last time, so book 1 follows a person, and then book 2, from what I remember, goes back in time but in a different world, and we follow someone that finds their way to... It's really strange the way the setup is. If that's... Bearing in mind, guys, brain, not the best. I think that's how it worked. And initially that was like, oh, confusing. But some of the characters in each of the books do sort of cross over and you meet them, and then you can keep track of how their story goes based on... that's not English, what is going on. So I think, so it's like, from book 1, in book 2 you get that I think it's the villain's backstory a little bit. And then we meet the girl that we follow in book 3, which is a bird of some kind, I think. Is it Bluebird? Bluebell? Blue something. I think there's 4 books. Anyway, I'm just chatting shit right now. So, whatever. I've got myself situated on my sofa, and I bought a really nice, because obviously I've got, well, not obviously because you don't see me from like below my waist. I've got quite wide legs. I've got an issue with my legs, which means that they swell a lot as well. So finding a little like lap table was very difficult size wise, but I found one and I was like, brilliant, perfect. I could get my little puffy and I can like put it in front of my sofa and it helps keep my legs elevated all the time, because for my condition that's what I need. And if I wanted to keep my legs elevated previously, I was having to forsake like having no yeah forsake the table. Oh my god, I can't English today. The table that I had was one that you could pull in and out and like had the little arms that went up and down, and I can show you what it looks like because it's literally in the corner of my room. But I couldn't have my legs elevated if I wanted to use that table. So I wanted it, but then, because the puffy doesn't fit under there. So it was a case of having my legs in a really weird position to use that table where I was like twisting. So yeah, basically, long story short, I wanted something where I could like sit normally, not have to twist and cause myself any more damage to this very fragile body. And yeah, anyway, that is, I don't know what I'm saying. Why can't I English? It's brain fog, migraine brain, and but yeah. Anyway, so what I did was what I'm doing is, this is a pull out bed as well. So I've pulled out the bottom part, and because okay, wind it back. So the reason I'm having to do this is because when I got the table, I was like, yay, brilliant, fits over my legs, perfect. When I'm in bed and I'm crafting, or I need table so that I'm not hunching over, then that works. But then I brought it into the living room and it is just a smidge too wide for the puffy, to a point where I can't even balance on it, because it literally just slides down over each side of the puffy. So I was just like, this was the whole reason I purchased this table. But going back to my previous statement, this is a pull-out bed. So I've pulled out the bottom part of the bed. I don't put the back down, obviously, because I don't want to slide. And then, yeah, I'm just going to show you. Wouldn't that be easier if I just showed you? So, here we go. So, friends, this is the table. And this is where the bed pulls out. So this is my situation. Oh my god. Sorry, microphone. So laptop there. And I'm going to be pulling up the patterns that I want to use. And then over here, we have a very messy bag of craft stuff. My crochet. This is various cottons and acrylics and my little caterpillar yarn all in there so I can craft while I put my patterns up on here and watch my televisione, which is just there. So this is fun. But also I had a little bit of a move around. So I don't know if you've seen my room before. If you're new here, hello. You won't have seen this room before. But previously, this here, there was 3 of these next to each other. And it was just, and then this table, this is a table that I'm on about. This table here, those sides go up and down. And obviously it's got wheels, so it moved in and out. And then I used to sit on my sofa and eat my food off that table, which obviously wasn't the best idea. But my marvellous mother came up with an idea the other day, because that table is not made for moving in and out all the time. And lo and behold, because it was being rolled over carpet so much, and me being the maximalist that I am, the drawers were pretty full, that wheel broketh. So what Mum suggested was the other 2 of these, because these are going to go in my library eventually when my dad puts my shelves up, so that'll be clear. But anyway, 2 of these could go in 2 different areas of my living room. I did like the cohesive look of them over there, but she's going to bring some chairs that my sister doesn't use anymore, and then they're going to go 1 chair either side of that table, and that's just going to stay there for this period of time. And then when I have Christmas, I'll show you where it went previously, but these arms can go down and it'll get pushed further that way, and then my Christmas tree will be positioned just there in the middle. So that's what we're doing there. And then you were thinking, Lisa, where are the other 2, if you even care? One of them is here. We didn't think it was going to fit, but Mother measured and it fits, because previously it was just this cube thing that was there. This is going to get moved because we no longer need it. And then obviously the things on there are going to get moved off, and it's probably going to get sent to the skip, because this is 2 Argos, 4 cubes stacked on top of each other. My father, bless his little cotton socks, when I first moved in, screwed them together and glued them on top of each other, because I needed storage. And before I could afford to buy these, because these were about 75 quid each. And then the other one is on the other side of my thing sofa, because you don't realise measurements are not my thing either. There's a lot of things that aren't my thing, but we didn't think they'd fit, but they do. So ignore what's on top of there. I literally moved it all around yesterday. So that's the setup, and I'm hoping that my mum can bring the chairs before Becca comes. I don't think I'm going to be able to get done what I need to do to the chairs, but my sister has some chairs that she doesn't really use a dining room for what it's supposed to be used for, so the chairs are not getting used, but they do need to be refabricated. What is it? Reupholstered. That's it. They need to be reupholstered and made more fluffy, because they're not the comfiest chairs. So, your famous, not so famous, new Northern seamstress extraordinaire is gonna make some cushions for said chairs. So, another little personal project that I can now do myself, because I've remembered how to sew. I did sew previously when I was at school, and I got a B in textiles. But coming back to sewing again really reminded me why I loved sewing and why I chose textiles. I wasn't told. I was guided away by your careers advisor, like they used to be. I don't know what they're like now, but they were very, very pushy in what they thought that you should be and what they thought you should do. I was very, and maybe in me, when they geared me towards something, I swerved and was like, nope. Anyway, yeah, basically. So my careers advisor was like, you should stick to IT and languages, because, you can make a career out of them. And I was like, make a career? What is that? I'm going to do textiles and then never use it again. But honestly, textiles, and to be fair, I did stick with German, because languages and using my brain in that way has always been something I loved. But don't do this, friends. Don't let bullies dictate what you do. I chose not to do languages as my main GCSE subjects, was because the person who bullied me for the most of school also was a very intelligent person, unfortunately, and took languages, so I chose not to take both. In hindsight, I kind of regret that, but also where I am now in life, a lot of people who went into teaching are now coming out of teaching because of the absolute state of the school system. But we're not going to get into that. You're not going to be politics. You come here for a chaotic person who can barely function as an adult, who likes to read. So, all of this clip to say, oh my Jesus, I chose Graceling, and then I fell asleep while listening to it. So, I'm going to go back to where I finished. I remember getting up to, which was probably only chapter 2 at this point. And then I was going to turn on my TV and watch some TV, but I've decided against that. I'm just going to pull up my patterns on my laptop, sit here, and then just craft for the rest of the evening. Because I did grab a little bit of something to eat, because when you're having a migraine, I haven't eaten all day. And, yeah. That's it. Oh, no, one last thing. Something that did come today. That I am, super happy with. My mum's friend at work told her about this cereal company that called Surreal. Cereal. And they do high protein breakfasts, but without all the additional shite that comes with some of the healthier breakfasts that we want. And she was in work, and the woman told us to try this granola. And we all know healthy granola. Literally, we were she's like, no, it has no taste. Don't really want to be eating that. But this granola is so nice. And when you make your first order, this is not hashtag not sponsored, but if you make an order with them, you get a free little bowl that you can use to weigh out your 50, is it 50, it's 50 grams of the granola you can have per day, and then 40 grams of the other cereal. Because they do like frosted, they do an equivalent of like Cocoa Pops, they do a honey crunch, they do cookies and cream, blueberry muffin. They do various ones, and you can get it on a subscription, and you can choose how many boxes you get. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really, really good. So that came today. Initially, me mum were like, we'll just get 4 packs each, and we'll just split the cost, and we'll just... No, we both love it so much. And then my dad started eating it, and my nephews started eating it when they're over. So we're getting our own subscription now, which is fine. It means that we can both enjoy all the cereal. So it's high protein, low sugar, and absolutely delicious. I will say, just to be transparent, with some of the flavours, there is a little bit of an aftertaste, but I find, and my mum's found, that if I have my breakfast with a brew most of the time, so with a drink of some kind, if you have your cereal and then have your drink, like, the taste isn't there. I think I made the first time I tried it, I didn't have a brew, and I was just, like, eating it as I was eating it before I went out the door to work. So I didn't really have a brew with me, so it did have a bit of an aftertaste. And that was the blueberry muffin one. But I do find that the rest of them, for me, I find I'm not really gonna get. I don't think I'm gonna get the blueberry muffin flavour again. I'm not really a fan of that. But the frosted one, absolute perfection. The granola, I've got the subscription where you get 8, and it renews every 8 weeks. So I've got 4 granola to last the next 8 weeks. That's 3. 4 granola. I've got 2 frosted. I got a cookies and cream one that I'm going to try. And then I also got peanut butter. Oh my god, peanut butter. Yeah. Anyway, this is me actually going. So I will speak to you later. Love you. Hello, friends. I am just coming in to update you, basically, on Graceling. That's the book that I went with. I decided on picking up, because I really do want to continue that series. Oh, I'm just getting an error. Why am I getting an error? I was just about to log off to get my lunch, and then, do you know that feeling you get, like, oh, I'll just do one more thing before I log off? And I say log off, I mean, like, go for my lunch, because I've just microwaved some wasabi do in Sainsbury's, like, the sweet chilli chicken and rice. So I just did this for that for my lunch. And I have a really, really bad habit of, I keep saying to myself, I'll do one more thing, and then I just forget to eat, and then my food goes cold, and then I just can't bother to eat it anymore, and then, it's a whole cycle of brain shit. Anyway, that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is, I remembered, so basically, if you don't know what Graceling is, because that would be a great way to start, wouldn't it? Graceling, the first book, follows a girl called Katza in a world... Wow, have I got hiccups all of a sudden? Follows Katza in a world where some people are... I would potentially say some people think it's a curse, some people think it's a blessing, but I'm going to say gifted with graces. Some of these graces are deemed very useful by the king, but people with graces are also kind of shunned by a lot of different parts of society. Are we surprised that this is a theme? We're not. But some graces can be, like, you're really good at fishing, or, you can, like, something really ridiculous, like, I don't know, you can hold your breath underwater for an infinite amount of time, things like that. But then you've got other graces, which is like mind reading, talent, like, you have a grace of, wow, I've got really bad hiccups, a grace for fighting. And in Katz's case, she finds out when she's younger that she has a grace, and the king uses her as a killing machine basically. So I can understand why Katza, when we initially meet her, she's very unfeeling's the wrong word. Wait, I need to plug in my computer. Unfeeling's the wrong word. She does have feelings. However, those feelings are complex. Should we say complex? Because they're complex. I don't know why, but this time around, listening to the book, I find she's way less likeable to start with, but you kind of understand why she is the way she is. The king uses her as his killing machine, and even though she doesn't want to do it, and she's also kind of oblivious to other people's feelings around her. She doesn't feel pain, and she struggles to cope with any emotions, really. We kind of find out throughout the book that she's just not the kind of person who feels very much of anything. And when she starts, the only thing she does feel is... Sorry if you have a lot of jumps in this section. I've got really bad hiccups. But one thing she does feel is a massive amount of anger towards the king, to a point where she's like, I really want to kill this guy every time he tries to talk to her. And just because of, obviously, history and the way that he's used her as his killing machine, and he flaunts her as a killing machine, and everybody around her is scared of her for the most part, apart from the maid, Hilda, who is just, I forget how much I like her. She's like a very a fussy mother type, and she's just great. She then meets a prince of another kingdom called Poe, and right. So she meets another prince of another kingdom called Poe, and they kind of go on this adventure. That's what I'm gonna say. What I did say earlier though about other people being in this book that end up being in other future books, I was right. I remembered that bit. A lot of what goes on, other than what I mentioned in my previous clip, I couldn't remember. I remembered she was used as a killing machine, but I couldn't remember, a lot of, the graces and things like that. I kind of knew the vague idea, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I've read it. So, forgive. But one thing I will say is that... I don't know what to say. I don't think there's much I can say without spoiling it, but we have met the antagonist. Is it antagonist? Is she a protagonist? And the villain's the antagonist, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we've met the villain, basically, of the series, or of this book. And I think the next book we read, which I think it's called Fire, is some of his backstory, I think. And then we've also... It's Bitter Blue. I knew it was blue. Something with blue in the title is book 3. And then something with winter in the title is book 4, I think. But we also meet Bitter Blue in this book, which I forgot. I thought we met her in book 2. We don't. We meet her in this book. So it kind of... And this is what I mean when I say I don't... It's not like a progressive series. So we've got this bit with Katza and Poe and what's going on here. And then in Fire, we do go back in time a little bit. And then obviously in book 3, we're back with Bitter Blue, which is more current. So it's kind of... I don't even know what kind of series you would call it, but it's called the Graceling series. But it's... I think that's what puts people off initially, is because it's called the Graceling series. And nobody ever mentioned, before I read it, that it wasn't sort of like a progressive timeline type series, that it did sort of flip back and forth. So I think that not knowing, people going into book 2 not knowing that, was kind of a bit jarring, and it kind of put people off, if I remember rightly from previous things. But I'm really enjoying it. I don't know. Wow. My phone is going crazy. Graceling. I don't know if when I read this, I was actually rating things on Goodreads. Let me double check. Yes, I was. So previously I rated this 4 stars. And I do feel like I probably would rate it the same. I wouldn't, unless I absolutely despised a book when on reread and found out that it was like way more problematic than when I read it, and because tastes and things change and that kind of thing. I wouldn't ever reduce my Goodreads rating, I don't think. So I'd keep it as a 4, but I think it's probably sitting at a 3.5 to a 4. But I do feel this time around reading it, Cat Save's pissing me off way more than I remember annoying me previously. Maybe I just have more patience for people, but it's really hard because I can understand why she's the way she is with the upbringing that she's had, but also it doesn't mean that I have to like her. Do you know what I mean? I do really like Poe, and I do like Hilda, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading. I will definitely continue the series after this because I am still intrigued about what goes on. So if I've forgotten this much from book 1, God knows what goes on in book 2 and 3. So that's something to look forward to. So yeah, I'm going to head off and actually go and eat my lunch. And while I eat my lunch, I'm going to read the last of... What am I on, actually? I say this, but I don't know what it is. Recently, which is probably a bit of a bad thing. Is when I've been going to bed, I've been listening to whatever I've been listening to. Sometimes I'll just flick YouTube on, but I can't seem to sleep without my headphones on. I feel like I don't that is really bad, because if any not that this would I can't say that, but if anyone was to come into my house, I'm a deep sleeper anyway, but if anyone was to come into my house and with my headphones on, I'd be buggered. It's just, yeah, I know it's stupid because I live by myself, but also I don't know what it is. I can't seem to sleep without my headphones on. So I did purchase some of the ones where they're like the in-ear ones where you can actually sleep on them, because my Samsung ones just fell out of my ears in the night and they're too spenny to break or lose. And the other ones I've got are like the overhead headphones. So I did purchase some of the in-ear ones that are like supposed to be suitable for sleeping, and they weren't that expensive. They weren't expensive at all, really. So if they don't work, they don't work. But I'm hoping that they do. But I've got 2 hours and 32 minutes left of Graceling, but I think I might have to wind it back a chapter or 2, because what my point was, and what I was trying to say, was that I did fall asleep again, and may have missed a couple of chapters, and woke up and realised I'd actually fallen asleep and something was still playing in my ears. And I really, really do need to stop doing that, because that is how I got spoiled for Empire of the Vampire. And I haven't learned from that mistake, friends. I should really just try and listen to some music. But also, if I listen to some music, it'd have to be on YouTube. And then obviously you've got your ads, but because if I listen to Spotify, it messes up my Spotify stats. And is that petty? Is that stupid? Yes, but I like seeing at the end of the month, when I do my Receiptify, I like to see all my K-pop that I just like consistently listen to. I like to see what I've actually listened to, because you can't filter. You can only filter by genre and category and titles and artists. You can't. So I wouldn't be able to filter out those things. And because 1 month I was continuously playing the Studio Ghibli Sleep thing on Spotify, as well as listening to my other music, and my top 10 was just the Studio Ghibli playlist. Which I know what I mean, I've still listened to it, so it's still part of my Spotify stats, but it's not part of my Spotify stats that I want. Does that make sense? It's stupid as hell, I know it is. Don't shout at me, I know. Anyway, I keep saying I'm going to go for my lunch. This is what happens, I get distracted. I need to take something from my brain to just stop this. I need to be able to just focus on something. I want my brain to focus for 2 minutes on one thing. It is frustrating. Probably it's frustrating for other people to listen to me like Flair. But I don't think people realise if you don't struggle with this, it is so frustrating for me as a person to not be able to focus on what I need to focus on. And to get distracted all the time. I know it's frustrating for other people. My mum messaged me the other day and said, "Oh, can you take it because my table broke? Can you take a photo of the issue so your dad knows what tools to bring over?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that right now." I got distracted by something. I don't know what it was. An hour and a half later, Mum was like, "Have you taken those pictures to send to your dad?" I was like, "Oh crap, no, I'll do it now." It's literally just at least focus on one thing. And it's just, I can't, my brain is all in, and it's so frustrating to deal with because I know that it agitates other people as well, but it also agitates me. So, and you do feel like you let people down when you forget to do things, and that was a total tangent. Again, look, I'm off, I'm going. Hello, friends. It's Sunday. We're coming to wrap up the Vloggerino, and I'm coming to let you know what I've been listening to since yesterday. What did I start? Well, I can't stop yawning, and it's not even 4 o'clock yet, is it? What time is it? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. But I still should be on at this time. I have been listening to Alona Andrews' book 1 in the series. Is called Burn Me. I can't remember the name of the series, but I saw that Cassie from Covers with Cassidy read it. She thought it was okay, and the premise was it Cassie that read it? I think it was. The premise sounded like something that would intrigue me, but I do feel that I have the same issues with it as she did. Is that there's a guy in it called Mad Rogan, and every time she talks about him or to him, she calls him Mad Rogan. And it's like, bitch, calm down, just call him Rogan. We all know he's crazy by how he's acting and, his history, but it's funny. It's an urban fantasy about a woman who runs an investigative agency that's been passed down from her parents, and she works for a big conglomerate, and she's tasked with something that seems like an impossible task because basically she's been set up to fail. And there's a character called Mad Rogan that we meet, and obviously I'm guessing he's the love interest, although we have met another guy as well. It's Adam Pearce, I think his name is. Again, the full name in there every time they talk about him, so I really should know his name, but I don't know whether it's going to be like a poly romance, a love triangle, or if it's literally just going to be Rogan and... Why have I forgotten her name? And whoever the protagonist is, and I've forgotten her name. But yeah, I made a beanie, sold a beanie, wanted a large. Person ordered a large, the one that I had in was medium, so I've made the large, ready to go. I have made some scrunchies while I've been listening to the audiobook. These are not crocheted, these are sewn, and I need to trim off some straggly bits, but these are made from green faux velvet, and I'm loving them. So I've been trialing those out. That's my first attempt. It was really, really big, and I need to unpick it and start again, but then these ones turned out better. So these will be for whenever I launch my Christmas collection. obviously. But yeah, that's all I need to update you on, really. I'm going to continue to listen to Burn Me, Burn For Me, Burn something or other, and just plod along. Probably finish crocheting a hat that I'm making, and then I think I need to look at crocheting some more spooky stuff. And I think I mentioned, just in case you don't watch my vlog on my other channel, I am also going to potentially be trying to sell some things on TikTok. So I need to split my stock and sort all that out as well. And I'm actually doing, touch wood even, I'm doing okay at tracking my inventory and things. One thing I'm not doing so good at tracking is my yarn. But I have a thought about that. I have some storage coming in the next couple of weeks. When I ordered it, I didn't realise how long it was going to take. I ordered it weeks ago. I should have checked the delivery time on it. But it was one of those things where, like, it was on my sister's showcase, so I ordered it straight from her showcase. And she got commission on it, but it's not going to be for another 2 weeks. But that's going to be a place where I can store all my yarn, which I'm excited about. And then I can free up some stuff, some drawers in my vanity to put some stock. To put some stock. So we'll see. We shall see. But I'm going to go now, and thank you very much for joining. If you do like me, you want to see more of me, please like, comment, subscribe, and all the good stuff. If you're here and you want to let me know you're here, but you don't have anything to say, please leave a black heart. It's very much appreciated. And until next time, enjoy whatever you're reading, watching, or doing. I'll see you all in whatever comes next.